Which app is the best for clearing iPhone storage space? This app's a lifesaver. It clears up space and keeps your phone running smooth as possible. If you don't clean your phone, you are going to retire. Clean it up for free. Download this free cleaning app from Restream. It has no ads, does not occupy memory, it's easy to install, and cleans up thoroughly. The most important thing is that it can be cleaned once for half a year. With just one click, you can delete all the useless garbage and cache files in your phone, so your phone is the same as the new one.
Continue.
Storms are becoming more likely in the forecast, and we're talking about the new risk area. High flooding chief meteorologist Bruce Justice mapping out those new areas for you here, and the new data shows a broader area that could have an alignment between instability and the building storm energy. This is not just some scattered thunder, but some of those storms could turn into organized with risk of isolated tornadoes. Now, the timing is going to be key for where it moves through and what time of day, because the time of day matters. It's not nighttime. You're likely to see some rain and some rumble of thunder, while during the day, it's militant fuel for on the backside of this, as the storage moves south, colder air temperature is going to turn many areas over into some accumulating snowfall. There are signs that parts of the Midwest, even in Tennessee and North Carolina, are accumulating snow out of this. We have to watch that closely because this is winter over. After that, are we going to get snow chances? That's going to be the million-dollar question that we need to answer in this video. In this, I'm going to let you know what the pattern looks like for the rest of the day. We're going to do some days in March. Please let me know where you're watching from right now. So let's get right to the data here. This is the brand new European line It shows that low pressure system in question beginning to form as we go into our Thursday. See it right in there. Moving into western. That kind of wind energy there. It's warm and stable air coming up. Folks, we're talking about temperatures being 20 to 30 degrees above where they should be this time of year all over Chicago, not just in the southeast, okay? So as we move into our Thursday evening, there's still some storm fuel to work with. Now, going into Thursday night, the energy is going north, the storm system is going south, so the front is pulling away from that energy. Now, normally you could overcome nighttime temperatures, nighttime lack of fuel if you have the wind energy nearby. In this case, for Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, it's kind of a weakening line that's moved off northeast. Could that produce some strong storms? Possibly in Tennessee or western North Carolina. Gusty winds will be the primary threat into the early morning hours of Friday, but for the most part, this would be a weakening line. Could make some noise as it rolls through, though, and some of the models do show that. I'll show you the high-res models in just a moment, giving you that brief overview first. And then behind that, we need to watch for the back building. Yeah, some of the moisture builds back in Friday night into Saturday, which could lead to more widespread rain, maybe some almost thunder in that, before finally the polar air moves through and says, okay, move over. February's back. Taking back shape here. So we've got some snow breaking out in parts of the Midwest, including Indiana, Ohio, into western North Carolina, into eastern Kentucky could have some snow as this wraparound effect comes on through. Let's get into the Northeast. Of course, some are talking about maybe DC seeing a little bit of snowfall here as this pulls off toward the Northeast. That track is so key as to weekends what, like it always is. Probably moving just south of the main I-95 cities in the Northeast. That said, it gets very cold Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. But it looks like Wednesday is when we start to turn the corner to not be as cold. And then by Thursday, we're right back to where we are right now. Back to the kind of warmer temperatures, 60s, maybe a little bit of rain going into Friday, Saturday. Kind of stays active here as we could have a couple of different thunderstorm chances. And this European model goes a little cuckoo here first few days of March with some wintry weather in the south. Don't believe that just yet, but hey, one thing to watch is we know that it is certainly possible going into March for wintry weather to make its way back into some areas. That would not at all surprise me. But in the near term, I think it's the West that would have a better chance for some snow. It's in western North Carolina with this first system coming in this weekend, going into early next week. Monday, Tuesday, it gets really cold. Then we warm things back. Rain 6 or 7. It's active again. We see multiple systems here with some rain. Now, funny enough, the GFS model also hinting at some early March wintry mischief here, depending on cold air being nearby and whatnot. That would be something to watch. And again, not out of the question as weather can do that this time of year. We can go from storms to snow or snow to storms back and forth. Here we go with storm energy. There's plenty of it on Thursday toward the Midwest, which is why there could be a pretty pronounced, couple of hours here of severe weather, including an isolated tornado or two in Indiana. You need to watch that really closely just south of Indianapolis. Seems to be kind of a crosshairs of some of the best instability. That is concerning. And as it pushes toward the south, it rebuilds back up Friday night and Saturday. Storm fuel could be enough from really the upstate South Carolina through Atlanta down toward the south for enough storm fuel for some thunderstorms, rumbles of thunder. Not much more than that. And then finally, this system pushes on down the south, and we don't see any more after that. Let's flip things over to our high-resolution land modeling. This gives us a better idea of what we can expect with regard to storms. And in this case, it's fired up. A little closer here.
You can save big, like a boss. Get a raise. With office chairs under $99. Mix, match, and ta-da! You're working in style. Plus, get assembly that doesn't feel like a full-time job. And fast and free shipping straight to your door. You're cooking way under budget this week. Shop office furniture for way less at Wayfair. Wayfair is just what I need.
To our Thursday. Look at this from Illinois into Indiana. Some of this could be 6, 7, 8 o'clock into central. off into Ohio here. And then there's this line. How much of that line holds together and moves into Tennessee, North Carolina? Probably nothing more than just a few rumbles of thunder. Then that pushes to the south and it tries to go back north, where there could be some thunder and lightning out of some of this activity Saturday morning, western North Carolina, and Tennessee, North Georgia. Then finally that pushes off toward the south. So again, something to watch there as we are flipping back to cold again. Speaking of cold, here we are, we're warm this week. Could be record-breaking warm on Friday. If we get to 76 in Greenville, Spartanburg, it's going to be a record. 75 would be the old one. Here comes that cold air. It is mighty cold within these first few days of next week. Then we're rebounding. Looks like the performance takes back up going into our Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, especially. But then winter comes knocking again the following weekend, Saturday, Sunday, first. And that's usually when we find our interesting suspect systems, is when it cools down again. And we try to keep warm. Atmosphere changing brings activity. And that's something that would need to be watched. As the European showed, a little something suspect there down there. You know, consistency builds confidence. So responsibly telling you about that as we get closer to it. All right, so Saturday, Sunday, colder air begins punching in. And boy, what a harsh dose of reality this will be. This is the apparent temperature that feels like temperature. Monday morning, we got 5 in Boone, 9 in Asheville, 24 in Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, 18 in Atlanta. Boy, oh boy. Tuesday morning, 10 in Boone, 14 in Asheville. Feels like 20s and 30s in Florida as well. Indiana, talking 20s, teens and 20s across Ohio. So it gets cold just about everywhere you go. But looking at the extended forecast, this would go through an average. Now, keep in mind, in this time frame, you could get a day or two that's cold. But on average, we're going to start to warm things back up toward the end of this week. And looking at the new outlook that goes all the way through 24th through March 4th, looks above average as well across a large part of the eastern half of the United States, which would be very interesting to see. And looking at this, the NAO, it's one of another signals that we look at that I've talked to you about, is the more positive it can turn, the lack of blocking, so pronounced cool downs you have. So if it turns negative, the more blocking you have, the more cold air that can go push toward the south. So you're turning positive here, especially going those first few days of March. Could we get something in the interims? Could we get something that forms as we flip back warmers and flip cold? That would be the areas I'd watch out for. But the snowstorms in late February or early March are usually marked by being pretty tame. It'd be, you know, an inch or two in the grass and then gone by the next day by noon. The sunning is just different. And, you know, we've had the blizzard of 93. Of course, everybody goes back to that. You can't discount it. We've had some of our bigger snows in March. They just don't stick around as much. The ground temperature is not as cold, and the capability of us to get cold and stay cold is just not quite there anymore that time of year. That said, could have something interesting in the pipeline down the road. Nothing looking too soon, but as you saw from both our American model and our European model, there's something out there. There's a signal. Now, does it keep flashing, or does it kind of fade away? That'll be the question, I think, in the coming days. First things first, storms in the Midwest, some thunder Friday into Saturday across parts of the South. We'll watch that closely for you, folks. I promise to keep you posted around the clock. If you're new to this channel and don't already, I'd appreciate you if you stick around. Please like this video, subscribe, follow this page. You're going to get notifications as it does. Keep you up to date around the clock. Folks, have a blessed day. We'll talk soon.
Wires, no Wi-Fi, no worries. Snap it on here or right here. Rain, dust, self-care, keeping eyes on my furry trouble holder. Perimeter check. Comes bird's eye view, literally rear view, roadside, wherever I run. I've used a lot of them, but this is a game changer. Mission for gaming, I don't need Wi-Fi. The battery lasts months, not hours. And it's tough. Dust-proof, waterproof, bust-proof.